The Fifth Element was a groundbreaking film when it hit theaters in 1997, but have you ever wondered what happened to the iconic cast after nearly 3 decades? Fast forward to 2025, and the transformation of these stars will shock you. Even Bruce Willis, the action hero Corbin Dallas, has stepped away from acting due to his tragic. Get ready to see what the cast of this beloved sci-fi classic looks like today. And trust us, you won't want to miss this. 1. Bruce Willis as Corbin Dallas. Bruce Willis, a legend in the world of film and television, made his mark on Hollywood with a career that spanned decades, delivering countless unforgettable performances. However, in the spring of 2022, the actor made the heartbreaking decision to retire after being diagnosed with aphasia, a cognitive disorder that severely affects one's ability to use and understand language. For many, this condition leads to a loss of speech altogether. Tragically, Willis's condition has since worsened, and 1 year later his family revealed that he has now been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a devastating disease for which there is currently no cure or treatment. Fans and the public were deeply moved by this news, especially considering the joy Willis has brought to millions over his incredible career. His family, in light of these challenging circumstances, has urged fans to support the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping families affected by this heartbreaking disease. Willis's career was nothing short of remarkable. Before his iconic role as Corbin Dallas in The Fifth Element, he won hearts and captured the public's attention with his portrayal of David Addison on the beloved TV series Moonlighting. His big-screen breakthrough came in 1988 with Die Hard, a role that solidified him as one of Hollywood's most legendary action stars. But Willis was far more than just an action hero. His versatility allowed him to shine in a range of genres. From his rugged toughness in The Last Boy Scout and The Expendables to his comedic charm in Death Becomes Her and Moonrise Kingdom, Willis proved time and again that he could master any role. Moreover, he also showed his depth in emotionally charged dramas like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, where he captivated audiences with his raw performances. However, Willis faced some conflicts, including a slight rift with Sylvester Stallone after he declined to appear in Expendables 3, although he did appear in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Willis didn't just stop at acting, he also had a passion for music. Over the years, he released 3 rock albums, receiving positive reviews and further proving his multifaceted talents. On top of his acting career, Willis had a net worth of an estimated $250 million, making him one of the highest-paid leading men in Hollywood. Although he is 70 years old now, he is an undeniable force both on and off the screen. Second, Milla Jovovich as Lilu, Milla Jovovich, the Queen of Kick-Butt. You've probably heard the title before, and for good reason. From her jaw-dropping stunts in action-packed blockbusters to her iconic role as Lilu in The Fifth Element, Milla has become a household name. But her journey from a Russian model to one of sci-fi's most powerful leading ladies is nothing short of fascinating. While The Fifth Element might have introduced us to her fiery, multicolored-haired character, it was the Resident Evil series, helmed by her now-husband Paul W.S. Anderson, that truly became a global sensation. By the time she finished her run in 2016, after 6 films, Resident Evil had grossed over $1 billion, making Jovovich one of the highest-grossing action stars in Hollywood. But her journey doesn't stop there. Jovovich kept her action star status alive with roles in Monster Hunter and Hellboy, both major franchise adaptations. And she's not slowing down. She's set to appear in the Lost Lands, an adaptation of a story by Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin, coming out this year. She's carved out a niche for herself as a powerhouse in the action and sci-fi genres, beloved by fans all over the world. Despite her success in these films, Milla's dramatic range remains a bit underappreciated. While critics have occasionally praised her more serious roles, like her surprisingly funny cameo in Zoolander. Many of her more dramatic performances have often been overshadowed by mediocre thrillers or genre films, such as Stone and The Fourth Kind. Fans still hope she'll find a project that lets her showcase the kind of depth she brought to her role as Lilu, a character that balanced quirky humor with raw emotion. Outside of acting, Milla was once one of the highest-paid models in the world. At the peak of her career, she made over $10.5 million in 2004 alone. While modeling was never her top priority, her influence in the fashion world is undeniable. She's worked with fashion legends like Miuccia Prada and Gianni Versace, and even launched a fashion line with fellow model Carmen Hawk, though they eventually ended the business in 2008. Milla's talents don't stop there. She's also a musician. Her debut album, The Divine Comedy, came out in 1994, adding another dimension to her creative career. In addition, she owns her own production company, further expanding her impact behind the scenes. Though she isn't religious, Milla describes herself as spiritual, regularly praying, meditating, and practicing yoga. She's also been open about her love for cannabis, even appearing in High Times magazine, a reflection of her laid-back, free-spirited personality. Her marriage is just as remarkable. She met director Paul W.S. Anderson while filming Resident Evil in 2002, and the two married shortly after. They've since had 3 children, one in 2007, another in 2015, and their third in 2020. Today, Milla Jovovich is 49 years old, with an estimated net worth of $80 million. From action films to fashion and music, her career continues to thrive, and her legacy as a multi-talented star shows no signs of slowing down. 3. Ian Holm as Cornelius. Ian Holm, a master of transforming into unforgettable characters, might forever be remembered by fans for his role as the wise and endearing Vito Cornelius in The Fifth Element. His portrayal brought a surprising comedic charm to Luc Besson's wild, visually stunning film. However, his most beloved portrayal remains that of Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, a role that made him a household name and cemented his place in cinematic history. Before becoming the iconic Bilbo, Holm had began in the theater, where he earned critical acclaim for his performances with the Royal Shakespeare Company. He made his film debut in The Beaufort's Gun, 1968, but it was his role in Alien, 1979, as the cold, calculating Ash that truly put him on the map in Hollywood. He was chillingly unforgettable in that film, showcasing his ability to portray both humanity and mechanical detachment. But it wasn't just science fiction and fantasy that suited Holm. He was equally at home in period dramas, comedies, and thrillers. Whether it was his portrayal of a troubled and flawed character in The Sweet Hereafter, 1997, or his powerful role in Chariots of Fire, 1981. He was one of those rare actors who could make an impression in any genre, always elevating the material with his nuanced performances. Despite his massive success on screen, Holm was known to avoid the Hollywood spotlight and maintained a low-key personal life. However, he still successed on the stage. He won numerous awards throughout his career, including a BAFTA award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in The Sweet Hereafter. Sadly, Holm's remarkable career was cut short when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. In 2020, after a battle with the illness, he passed away peacefully at the age of 88. Despite his passing, Ian Holm's legacy as an actor continues to live on. His roles in The Fifth Element, The Lord of the Rings, and countless other films will continue to be celebrated by audiences for years to come. 4. Gary Oldman as Zorg. If you've ever seen The Fifth Element, you likely remember Gary Oldman as Zorg, the wild-eyed, power-crazed villain whose every line crackles with madness. But don't be fooled, because The Fifth Element was just a glimpse into the much larger and far more remarkable story of Oldman's career. Oldman's career skyrocketed after his memorable turn as Zorg, and he quickly became a go-to actor for both villains and complex characters. But it was his range that truly set him apart. He was Oscar-nominated 3 times, each for drastically different roles. Once for his portrayal of George Smiley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, 2011, once for his portrayal of Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour, 2017, and most recently as Herman Mankiewicz in Mank, 2020. His role as Churchill earned him an Academy Award, solidifying his place as one of the finest actors of his generation. Though he is lauded for his versatility, many moviegoers still know him best for 2 iconic roles, Sirius Black in the Harry Potter series and Commissioner James Gordon in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. Oldman's ability to embody both dark and light characters with equal intensity is a testament to his versatility. From the villainous, sinister Smiley in Tinker Tailor to the noble protector Gordon in the Batman trilogy, Oldman's skill has consistently captivated audiences. Beyond the career, Oldman's life hasn't been without challenges. In the early 1990s, he faced a very public battle with alcoholism, which took a toll on both his career and personal life. In 1991, he was arrested for DUI, and in 1994, he entered rehab. It was only after his time in recovery that Oldman publicly discussed his struggles, and by 2001, he had identified himself as a recovering alcoholic, a journey he's remained committed to. Oldman's marriage has also been marked by controversy, particularly in his relationship with ex-wife, actress, and model, Doña Fiorentino. Amidst their tumultuous divorce, Fiorentino accused Oldman of assaulting her in front of their children, claims he vehemently denied. The allegations were ultimately dismissed, and Oldman was granted sole custody of their children. Fiorentino's accusations resurfaced in 2018, but Oldman continued to maintain his innocence, with these claims also being dismissed. Currently married to his 5th wife, writer and art curator Giselle Schmidt, Oldman has found stability in his personal life. Now, at 67 years old, he has a net worth of approximately $40 million, a testament to his decades-long career. His legacy as one of the most accomplished actors of his generation remains unshaken, and with upcoming projects on the horizon, it's clear that Gary Oldman's remarkable talent and ability to reinvent himself will continue to shine for years to come. 5. Chris Tucker as Ruby Rhod. Chris Tucker's journey from the zany and flamboyant Ruby Rhod in The Fifth Element to a quieter, more focused life is nothing short of fascinating. While he once thrived in the chaos of high-energy roles, Tucker has since stepped away from the limelight to focus on more meaningful endeavors. Known for his comedic brilliance, he's used his fame to support humanitarian causes, dedicating much of his time and fortune to giving back. After Rush Hour 2 in 2001, Chris Tucker took a break from acting, stepping away from the spotlight. It wasn't until 2007 that he rejoined the Rush Hour franchise with Rush Hour 3. This film marked a significant milestone in his career. Tucker negotiated a $40 million contract, making him the highest-paid actor in the world at the time. The financial success from the film not only solidified his place in Hollywood, but also gave him the means to launch the Chris Tucker Foundation. The foundation focuses on providing scholarships and other forms of relief to lower-income students and unhoused communities. Despite his fame and fortune, Tucker never lost sight of his roots. In 2023, he made a return to the big screen in Air, portraying Nike executive Howard White alongside Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. That same year, Tucker delighted fans with his first stand-up tour in over a decade, the Legend Tour. His high-energy performances and distinctive comedic voice proved that his talents had only sharpened with time. However, Tucker's path hasn't always been smooth. Despite the millions he earned from the Rush Hour films, he faced financial struggles due to a series of mistakes. In 2011, it was revealed that he owed $11.5 million in back taxes for several years. By 2014, the amount had ballooned to $14 million. Thankfully, Tucker was able to settle his debts by the end of 2014. Yet, the financial strain took a toll, leaving him with a net worth that now stands around $5 million. On a more personal note, Tucker has a son named Destin with his ex-wife, Asja Pryor. He remains close friends with Rush Hour co-star Jackie Chan and shared a special bond with Michael Jackson. Tucker appeared in Jackson's You Rock My World music video in 2001 and was present at the pop star's memorial service in 2009. Additionally, Tucker actively supported Barack Obama during the 2008 presidential election, further solidifying his place in pop culture. Now, at 53 years old, Chris Tucker may not be the household name he once was, but his impact on both the film industry and through his humanitarian efforts remains strong. 6. Luke Perry as Billy. Luke Perry was a standout figure in The Fifth Element, but not in the way many might expect. Despite only appearing in the film's opening sequence and having a limited number of lines, so few in fact that you could count them on one hand, but it's important to remember that, at the time, he was already a teen idol. His portrayal of Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210 had made him a household name, and he was so recognizable that his name appeared solo in the opening credits of The Fifth Element. It was clear that he was still a major draw, even if his part in the movie was small. After 90,210, Perry was determined to show there was more to him than just the brooding heartthrob. He moved into a variety of roles, with one of his most notable being Fred Andrews, Archie's dad, on Riverdale. Perry played Fred for 3 seasons, and his role on the show was especially meaningful to fans, as it was one of his final big roles before he was out of stage. While Perry didn't become a huge movie star, his television career was impressively diverse. He made guest appearances on beloved shows like Will and Grace, Criminal Minds, and Community. He also brought his voice to several animated shows that didn't get as much attention, but have since gained cult followings. Shows like Biker Mice from Mars and The Incredible Hulk featured Perry's voice work, and he even played Krusty the Clown's half-brother in The Simpsons. Though these roles were smaller, they showcased his versatility and his ability to adapt to different genres. Whether on a teen drama, in animation, or in his occasional film roles, Perry's ability to keep evolving is what kept him beloved by so many. His untimely death at 52 in 2019 was a huge loss, but his legacy lives on through the diverse and meaningful work he left behind. 7. Charlie Creed Miles as David. Charlie Creed Miles might not immediately come to mind when you think of The Fifth Element, and that's understandable. His role as David, Vito's well-meaning but occasionally clueless assistant, is a far cry from the film's more iconic moments. Yet, in that supporting role, Creed Miles still manages to deliver a solid, humorous performance. In another world, with the right opportunities, he could have been a standout English character actor in the vein of Ian Holm. Unfortunately, his career trajectory took a different turn. Despite his early promise, Creed Miles remains largely under the radar in Hollywood today. These days, he's mostly seen in guest appearances on television or as a supporting actor in smaller film roles. You might have spotted him in 100 Streets, a film alongside Idris Elba, or perhaps caught his brief stint on the hit series Peaky Blinders. While his roles have been varied, he's managed to carve out a niche in the crime drama genre, especially in British productions. Over the years, Creed Miles has played a range of characters, from unwitting victims of crime in Essex Boys, to officers attempting to thwart criminal activity in Harry Brown and Injustice, and even the criminals themselves in Wild Bill and Peaky Blinders. It's clear that this actor has range and depth, capable of embodying characters on all sides of the law. Now, Creed Miles is gearing up for another exciting role, this time portraying Sir John Hodge in The Chelsea Cowboy. This upcoming British crime drama, centered on the life of notorious gangster John Bindon, could serve as another important step in Creed Miles's career, perhaps providing the platform for a much-needed resurgence. But that's not all. He'll also be seen in the Canadian comedy Drive Back Home, alongside comedian Alan Cumming. The film, distributed by the TIFF Favorite Game Theory, might just be the opportunity that brings Creed Miles to a wider international audience once again. Although he may not be a household name yet, Creed Miles' career has been nothing short of fascinating. His versatility within the crime genre, coupled with the potential for more expansive roles, shows that he's a talent who hasn't been fully recognized yet. The best may still be ahead for this 53-year-old actor, and with projects like The Chelsea Cowboy and Drive Back Home, 2025 might just mark a turning point in his career, offering him the chance to shine on the world stage. Keep an eye out. Creed Miles may surprise us all. 8. Tom Lister Jr. as President Lindbergh. Tommy Lister Jr., also known as Tiny, may have had only a brief role as President Lindbergh in The Fifth Element, but his career and life story are far more fascinating and impactful than his screen time suggests. Born with a dislodged retina, Lister was left blind in his right eye, which contributed to his striking appearance, a deep voice, and an imposing presence that made him perfect for portraying villains, strongmen, and intimidating figures on screen. His unique look allowed him to stand out in a way few could match, making him a favorite in both action and comedy roles. Lister's big break came in 1995 when he starred alongside Ice Cube and The Fifth Element co-star Chris Tucker in the cult classic Friday. This role cemented his status in Hollywood, but Lister had already been carving out a name for himself before that. In 1989, he played the villainous Zeus in No Holds Barred, a film starring wrestling icon Hulk Hogan. While the movie was a critical flop and barely broke even at the box office, it caught the attention of the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, which later brought Lister's on-screen feud with Hogan into the ring at SummerSlam that same year. Although his wrestling career was short-lived, Lister's time in front of the camera was just getting started. Over the years, Tommy Lister Jr. accumulated over 200 roles in film and television, building a diverse portfolio that spanned genres and characters. From his memorable appearances in Jackie Brown to his role as the menacing Joker's ally, the Tusk, in The Dark Knight, Lister's presence was undeniable. He also voiced Finnick, the adorable but sly accomplice to Nick Wilde in Disney's Zootopia, a performance that proved his talent stretched far beyond the physicality he was known for. Despite his fame, Lister's life was not without hardship. In 2020, at the age of 62, he tragically succumbed to complications from heart disease. His passing marked the end of an era for the actor, but his legacy lives on through his extensive body of work. 9. Maïwenn as Diva. In 1997, The Fifth Element premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, where one of its newest and brightest stars made her red carpet debut. Maïwenn Lebesco, a young French actress, stunned both audiences on screen and off as the captivating Diva Plava Laguna. Her performance, which combined beauty with otherworldly grace, left an unforgettable mark on the film. But little did anyone know at the time that this would be just the beginning for her, and 25 years later, she would return to the same prestigious festival with a film of her own. Now simply known as Maïwenn, she's dropped Lebesco for a cleaner, more straightforward name. She's built a successful career both in front of and behind the camera. In 2023, she premiered her 6th feature film, Jeanne du Barry, as the opening night film at Cannes. However, her return to the festival was far from drama-free. The film's co-star, Johnny Depp, had recently been through his high-profile trial with Amber Heard, and Maïwenn herself was dealing with the fallout from an admission that she had assaulted journalist Edwy Planel earlier in the year. The whole situation was further complicated by her past relationship with director Luc Besson, with whom she shares a daughter. The timing felt oddly full circle. Maïwenn was going through a similar personal upheaval right around the time The Fifth Element was released, following her divorce from Besson. Her early career, which had been full of promise, was somewhat derailed by these personal challenges, but she found her way back. After making her directorial debut with Pardonnez-moi, Maïwenn proved herself as a talented filmmaker in her own right. Despite the controversy that sometimes followed her, she's continued to find success behind the camera, with a distinct, compelling voice as a director. And even in her role as Diva Plavalaguna, under layers of makeup and prosthetics, her piercing eyes and presence still stood out. Maïwenn's story is one of growth, resilience, and reinvention. From her breakout role as a sci-fi diva to becoming a filmmaker making waves at Cannes, she's navigated plenty of highs and lows. Her return to the festival with Jean du Barry marks a powerful full-circle moment in her career. At 47 years old, Maïwenn continues to evolve and impress, a true testament to her talent, strength, and determination. 10th, Brion James as General Monroe. Brion James was one of those actors who became known for playing the bad guy, tough, gritty characters who left a lasting impression. Much like Gary Oldman, he built a career as a villain, often the gruff antagonist opposite action heroes. In The Fifth Element, however, he took on a slightly different role. General Monroe, the no-nonsense military officer who recruits Corbin Dallas to retrieve the sacred stones. While his role was small and lacked much drama, James played it with the same ease and professionalism you'd expect from someone with over 25 years in the industry. Sadly, The Fifth Element marked the start of the final chapter in James's career. Just 2 years after the film's release, he passed away from a heart attack at the age of 54 in 1999. But despite his untimely death, James's work lived on. He had been so prolific in his career that he continued to appear in films and TV shows posthumously until 2005. You may not immediately recognize Brion James by name, but if you've seen any number of action movies, chances are you've seen him. He often played the tough guy, whether it was the villain opposite Stallone in Tango and Cash, Schwarzenegger in Red Heat, or Lundgren in Red Scorpion. But his most famous role is as Leon Kowalski, the menacing replicant in Blade Runner. That role alone showcased James's ability to deliver intensity and conviction in a way that made him stand out among the toughest action stars of his time. James also made his mark in animation, lending his voice to the character of Parasite in Superman, the animated series. His portrayal remains the definitive version of the character for many fans, proving that his talents extended beyond just acting on screen. Whether through his unforgettable villains in film or his iconic voice work, he left a lasting impact on pop culture that still resonates with audiences today. With the unforgettable cast, wild sci-fi visuals, and quirky humor, it's no wonder The Fifth Element is still loved by fans after 28 years. From Milla Jovovich's incredible Lilu to Bruce Willis as the tough yet lovable Corbin Dallas, this film has truly stood the test of time. So what do you think? Which character from The Fifth Element left the biggest impression on you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to share this with your friends and keep The Fifth Element magic alive. Bye. Bye.